You know, Donner continues to impress me when it comes to their musical instruments. I've reviewed a few of their products, including the previous two Hushes, the Hush 1 and the Hush X. Today, we review the Hush X Pro. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and yeah, the Hush X Pro is what we're looking at today. This is a nice guitar. They kind of bill it as a traveler guitar, but it's just a small headless guitar that is great for travel. I mean, because look, this thing actually fits into a case that looks like the size of a pool cue type of thing, right? I mean, it's really nice that it does that. The Hush one is more aimed at like acoustic type stuff. The Hush X was more aimed at rock and metal type of stuff with its humbucker, and this kind of takes the best of both worlds, and it has onboard effects and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty amazing actually what it does, especially for the price. At what, right now it's on sale for $419. Well, $419.99, so $420. It's usually listed at $659.99. You can buy it through their website or Amazon. I'll put both links down in the description. This is the only one that I know of that has this little pick guard on it of all the different Hushes. And it's gold and white. I'm not usually a big fan of gold on guitars, but it just works for this guitar. A couple of things that make their headless unique. Up here at the top, you've got double locking for the strings, and then this little thing right here, it's a handle. I mean, you could hang this thing, you could pick it up by that handle, whatever you want to do. It works out really well. Plus the fact that you've got these little pieces on here that come off that easily, go back on, kind of that easily. There we go, just like that. So yeah, now look, this video could get pretty long. There's a lot of features on here and stuff, so we're gonna get into those. I'll show you how they all work, and then we'll give you a quick sound demo, and I'll wrap it all up with some conclusions. First, let me give you some specs on this little guitar because it's got a lot going on. Just bear with me, it's gonna be worth it. So inside of the case, you've got a strap. It's actually a pretty nice strap. A really nice set of in-ear headphones or in-ear monitors. Really nice. There is an app called Donner Play, and you can use this to get onto that. There's a manual inside here, which you might need because you've got to go through all those effects. And then there's just a quick start type thing, so you can just quickly get going. There's a nice little wipe cloth in here. One of their guitar cables, which is surprisingly not bad. It's good to keep around as a spare if you already got a bunch of guitars. But if this is your first guitar, everything you're going to need comes in here. There's a USB-C cable here, and there's also, this is a little tool that you use to adjust your truss rod, which we'll show you in just a little bit. So a few picks in here and some extra little grub screws for your bridge. So once again, it's selling for $420 right now on sale. I would check Amazon because Black Friday sales and all that stuff. If you're watching this after that, the price may vary. DXP system, tone simulation, amp modeling, IR import support, one knob control, built-in tuner, multiple outputs, headless design, low resistance tuning, selected mahogany body, rounded fret ends, slim C-shaped neck, and custom pickups. And I gotta tell you, the neck on this thing, it is really nice and slim. It plays super nicely, and it's got tools on board. Right there, you just open that up and you've got your wrenches right in there. So if you need to do something on the fly, I mean, it's travel, yeah, definitely. Gig, maybe. I don't know, but if I'd have had this guitar when I first started and I had like a really crappy 10-watt amp and everything else, no effects, and had to buy pedals and all that stuff, this thing's got everything on it. You can play your music through it so that you can play along with it. Yeah, I'll tell you what, let me just show you. Alrighty, I'm not going to go through every single last feature on here in every setting because we could be here all day. What I have done is taken these off, and the piece just goes on there by lifting this up right here, boom, like that. Like this, and then you just line that up with that like that, and it goes on. But I want you to be able to see, so we'll just take that off. And the same thing goes for this piece that's on the bottom. A couple of things while I've got it right here. These wrenches that are in here, I may just take them out because they move, and they kind of go back and forth, and they hit inside the body there. That is also where you're going to restring it. So you got USB-C right here. That can be used to go straight into your iPhone, your iPad, your computer. So it's kind of an audio interface. That's a reset thing right there. Headphones right there. And that's where your instrument plugs in. With the USB-C, it should also be able to plug into external speakers if you've got one that's like that. It also has Bluetooth on it, and that's what this little button right here is, BLT. Just hit that once and it turns the Bluetooth on. And then you can connect it to your phone, and it just did connect to my phone because it was connected to it earlier, and it's really easy just to turn that off. What you'd use that for is if you wanted to feed music into your earphones while you were playing so you could play along with it or something like that. But one thing I did discover is that when you're using the USB-C to feed into, for example, my iPhone for the new Fender Studio app that's on here, you get a little warning on there. Let me just show you here. You can see I was able to record into here. Quick word of caution, this is a screenshot that I did, and it does give you a warning. It says cannot use accessory. This accessory uses too much power, and it will give you that warning repeatedly, but you can ignore that because it does record into your DAW if you've got one on your phone or your iPad. I don't know if you can really tell, but man, the finish on this thing looks really, really nice. It is like a pearl white, and it does go all the way up the neck. Although somewhere, I think on the website it said the neck was matte, but it is not. The only adjustments that I had to do on this, once again, are 2 of the saddles I adjusted slightly, and I just adjusted the neck. Other than that, it plays really, really well. All right, so those are the basics. Now you've got a tap tuner on here. If you hold that down, it goes to an onboard tuner, and you can just attune it, you know, like you normally would. If we hit that again, it goes back to your presets. And then this right here, you can use to tap out your BPM. Oh, and one more thing about that USB-C that's over here. The USB is used for charging and connecting to a computer or mobile device for data transfer, supports OTG functionality, and IR import and export. So you can import IRs to this if you want to replace some of the ones that are already on there. There is a 3-way switch right here for the 2 pickups. So all the way down, it's just the bridge. In the middle, it's both. And at the top, it is just that one. This button right here turns it on and off, and it also switches through your effects. So you can see those right here. We're just going to be turning that knob that I just showed you. Just goes through all of them. So there's A, B, C, D, E, F. And each one of these, you can see that the little boxes have lit up. Those are the ones that are activated for that particular effect. If you hit this button one more time, then you go to F2. So it's, you know, the same thing. You've got all those presets, but in the second bank. And then if you hit it one more time, then you're in the third bank. Then we've got our last 2 knobs right here. There's value and tone. You could turn it all the way to this way, and you would bypass all the electronics. So if you just wanted to use it as a straight up guitar, we're in bypass. Then each one of these has a little thing in here: reverb, delay, amp and cab, drive, effects, and tone. And you move it to each one of those. So right now the reverb is on plate, and we can change that by turning this, and then you would choose one of those different ones. So we're just going to leave it like that. If you hit that, then that selects that one. And you can also adjust these. So I just selected that. Now I can turn those up or down. And you've got mix and fade is what your settings on that are. Hit it again, so you can adjust it. Then we're going to go to the next one. And the delay is off on this particular preset, so you could leave it off, or you could choose tape or analog, lo-fi, reverb, digital. And we're going to just leave it off. And then your amp and cab, you can choose twin, dark, AC 36N, star, Dr. C, AC 30TB, SV00. And these all have meanings based on the amps that, you know, they're based on different amps. UK50, UK800, UK900. So this would probably be Soldano. Yeah, so there's a bunch of amps that you can choose from. And this was on twin, so we're just going to leave it at that. Got your drive. The drive is off right now on this one, so you can go in there and choose a drive. I think you're getting the point now. And effects, and then tone. So you could turn it to one of these other tones. I'm going to say that's probably Strat, Telecaster, Les Paul, JM, I don't know what that one is, Jumbo, OM, and D. It might seem complicated, but it really isn't. And then we're just going to hit this button again over here, and that takes us back to the presets. Yeah, it's pretty great. There's a lot that you can do with this thing. I mentioned adjusting the truss rod. So easy to do because you've got that spoke wheel type thing right down there to do that. Still have the plastic on this little pick guard, but you know what? This is the only one that I know of that has the little pick guard, and I just think it looks cool. So I'm not usually into gold guitars, but white and gold, it just looks good on this one. Just in case you're wondering, yeah, that's their pickup configuration right there with the switch positions. And the battery level, that's seen on this right here. There's a little white light that's around that. You might not be able to see that right now, but it's pretty easy to understand. And there's also apparently some host software and host connection that you can download to experience the whole functions and latest firmware of Hush X Pro, according to what it says right there. Alrighty, well, let's put her back together. Make sure that it can't pull out of there when you do. And you can tell when you look at these if they're flush at the top. That's how you know that they're connected properly. And it's really comfortable to wear with the strap. So what I wanted to do first is just show you the guitar without any of the electronics. So it's not even turned on right now, not even in bypass. It's just completely turned off. So you don't need to use all those effects. So I'm gonna go with something dirty here. Sounds pretty good to me. So what we're going to do right now, that's with no effects or anything else, and it's not even turned on. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on clean. And that's what it sounds like clean. So now let's go ahead and turn it on. Takes a second for it to completely turn on. And I do have to turn this up a little bit because the effects are a little bit quieter than the guitar when it's just turned on. So that's just the A1 preset. I'm not going to go through all of these here, but of course, all of these, you can tame them down, you can, readjust everything within them, but I'm just leaving them as they were because I want you to be able to hear that. So this is C1. D is where they've got all the overdrive stuff on this thing, where it's really overdrive. So those were all of the the first bank. Go to the second bank, and we'll just go backwards on that one. This is B3. This one's kind of interesting. So I guess what I'm saying is there's a ton of tonal capabilities. I haven't changed these presets. Well, I tweaked a couple of them just a tiny bit, but I wanted you to hear them basically how they come on the guitar itself. So yeah, lots of possibilities with this one. One thing I didn't point out previously is that right below the nut right there is a fret. That is a 0 fret. And what that does is it makes it nice and stable. It helps to reduce fret buzz and just so many other little things, but that's a nice touch on here. People say that they put them on lower end guitars or something like that to help to decrease fret buzz or whatever. I don't know. I know that it's working on this one, so I'm digging it. I wish there was a little bit more volume when it comes to headphones. They're a little bit low. Maybe they're trying to help you to protect your hearing or something like that. I like to crank things, and I've been using headphones for many, many years. In fact, I worked in radio for 16 years wearing headphones every day, so I need some volume, you know what I mean? But outside of that, it works really great. Lots of features on here and a nice low price. Thing is super small. You can play it with or without these handles on here. Oh, and these frets with the rounded ball ends on them, really, really nice. You're not going to end up cutting your fingers up going up and down the fretboard, that's for sure. Ultimately, I think it's a pretty great little guitar, whether it's a travel guitar or your only guitar, right? So there we go. That is the Donner Hush X Pro, and I just want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. Likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, always very important to my channel. So if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's a red subscribe button down there and a notification bell. If you click both of those, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. A couple other buttons down there. There's a thanks button in case you want to donate a couple bucks to the channel. And, well, a really easy one. There's one down there called Hype. If this video has only been up for 7 days or less, you can click that and help the video rise up a leaderboard. It helps my algorithm, all right? So anything that helps the channel out, I appreciate it. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.